Unit 12. Black Beauty.
Black Beauty. You are going to read part of much longer story. The story was written a long time ago, when people traveled by horse and carriage. Characters. The main characters in our story are animals. Black Beauty. Black Beauty is a horse. He is the narrator of the
I was
story.
almost 4 years old when Farmer Gray
Narrator
brought another
means
man to
who
see me.
tells the story. He tells the reader what he saw. The air was thick with smoke. What he heard, I could hear Ginger coughing. What he felt very uncomfortable and very nervous. Ginger is Black Beauty's friend. James is the driver. Stable lad who works with horses. Plot. Black Beauty, Ginger, and the other horses are sleeping in the stable. The stable catches fire. What will happen to the horses? New vocabulary. Carriage.
A cart that is pulled by animals such as horses or donkeys.
Inn.
Small hotel.
Stable.
A place where horses are kept.
Hooves.
One of the pointed nail in the animal's feet.
Flame.
The bright part of a fire.
Bridle.
The leather straps that you put over a horse's head to control it.
Slip.
To fall down.
Yard.
An area of land outside the stable.
This is part of a story which was written a long time ago when there were no motor cars. People used horses to travel about. Mr. Gordon has 2 horses called Black Beauty and Ginger which pull his carriage. James is the driver. In this part of the story, Mr. Gordon is making a long journey. He has stopped at an inn and the 2 horses have been put in the stable for the night. Black Beauty, the horse, tells us what happened.
Late at night, I woke up feeling very uncomfortable. The air was thick with smoke, and I could hear Ginger coughing. I found it difficult to breathe. I listened and heard a soft rushing sort of noise. Something was crackling and snapping. I didn't know what it was, but it made me very nervous. All the other horses were now awake, and I could tell they were frightened too. We did not know what was happening, but we sensed we were in danger. At last I heard steps outside. A stable lad, who we had never seen before, came in and began to untie the horses. He tried to lead the first one out, but the horse was so frightened it would not go with him. He tried to drag me out of my stall, but I dug my hooves into the floor and would not move. He tried all the horses, but he could not get any of them to move, so he left the stable. We would have gone with him if we had known and trusted him, but we were too frightened to move. The fresh air that had come in by the open door made it easier to breathe, but the rushing noise overhead grew louder. I looked upwards and saw a red light flickering on the wall. Then I heard a cry of "Fire!" outside. The flames were growing bigger, and the rushing noise was dreadful. Someone shouted, "The roof might fall down." Another voice cried, "We may lose all the horses." It was then I heard James's voice, quiet and cheerful, as it always was. "Come on now. It is time for us to be off. Come along." I stood nearest the door, so he came to me first, patting me gently. "Come, Beauty, on with your bridle, my boy. We'll soon be out in the fresh air." He slipped the bridle over my head, talking to me quietly all the time. He took the scarf which he always wore around his neck and tied it lightly over my eyes. Still patting me gently, he led me out of the stable. Safe in the yard, he slipped the scarf off my eyes and shouted, "Here, somebody take this horse while I go back for the other." A tall man took hold of my bridle and James darted back into the stable. I whinnied loudly as I saw him go. Ginger told me afterwards that whinny was the best thing I could have done for her. She might not have had the courage to come out of the stable if she had not heard me outside. There was a lot of noise and movement in the yard. Horses and carriages came out of all the stables in case the fire should spread. I watched our stable door. Thick smoke was pouring out, and I could see flashes of red light. I heard a crash of something falling inside. Then suddenly I saw James coming through the smoke, leading Ginger away from the danger. She was coughing and she was frightened, but, thanks to James, now she was safe.
Page 102. Number 1. Answer these questions. Who is telling the story?
Black Beauty is telling the story.
Number 2. Why was Black Beauty feeling very uncomfortable?
Black Beauty was feeling very uncomfortable because the air was thick with smoke.
What 3 noises made Black Beauty feel very nervous?
The noises which made Black Beauty feel very nervous were a rushing noise, crackling, and snapping.
Why did all the horses refuse to go with the stable lad?
The horses refused to go with the stable lad because they were frightened. They didn't know him and they didn't trust him.
Why did the horses suddenly find it easier to breathe?
They found it easier to breathe because fresh air came in through the stable door when it was opened.
Who managed to lead Black Beauty out of the stable?
James managed to lead Black Beauty out of the stable.
Why was Black Beauty's whinny the best thing he could have done for Ginger?
Black Beauty's whinny was the best thing he could have done for Ginger because it made her feel brave enough to leave the stable.
Why were horses and carriages coming out of the other stables?
Horses and carriages were coming out of the other stables in case the fire spread.
Let's discuss some questions together. Why do you think the horses were nervous and frightened?
The horses were nervous and frightened because they could smell smoke and hear unusual sounds.
What do you think Black Beauty thought when he heard someone shouting, "Fire"?
All the horses might die. They should all get out quickly.
Why do you think James tied a scarf over Black Beauty's eyes?
He tied a scarf over Black Beauty's eyes so he would not be frightened by anything he saw, and it would be easier to lead him out.
When Black Beauty was safely outside, why do you think he watched our stable door?
He watched the stable door because he was worried about what was happening to Ginger inside.
How do you think Black Beauty felt when he heard the crash of something inside the stable?
When he heard the crash, he was afraid that the roof had fallen on Ginger and that she was injured.
If you like the video, please like and subscribe.